Church, after almost a year of procrastination, I passed my real estate exam on my first try. If you want to know how I did it and how you can too, stay tuned. I got my notes. I hope y'all got yours. Let's get on into this real estate based mess. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me out there? Listen, to my returning church members, baby, welcomes. And to all my new people, please make sure to smash that subscribe button and to also click that bell notification so you are notified every time I decide to upload a video. Now, baby, listen, my outfit and my spirit today, honey, is given young and mentally mature, okay? But listen, don't y'all be too ashamed of me when y'all find out how I really passed this test, because it was anything but mature. Now, let's jump on into it, okay? Now, first and foremost, y'all, I have to give a disclaimer, okay? I am not a role model as it relates to the real estate profession yet, okay? I'm gonna claim yet, because maybe one day I will be. But in terms of this pre-licensing thing, y'all, listen, I've told y'all 1,000 times on this channel, I have the spirit of procrastination over my life, okay? I'm trying to work it out in therapy. I'm trying to work it out in life. But listen, I literally took the test last June in terms of my pre-licensing course. I took the test last June, and the minute that those people told me that I had 1 year from that date to take the actual state test, that was probably the worst thing that anybody could have told me, okay? Listen, if you want my procrastination to flare up, tell me I got time to do something. Telling y'all, it's like something clicks in my brain and all semblance of sense goes out the window, okay? Listen, my therapist told me to take the test. My mama told me to take the test. My auntie told me to take the test. I told myself, you should take that test, and I still ain't take it, okay? Until I only had maybe about, I think, a week and a half in order to take it before my scores became invalidated from my pre-licensing course, right? So first and foremost, y'all, I am not a role model surrounding this, but I'm a firm believer that the Lord uses imperfect people in which to, display his messages. So if y'all are like me and y'all have that procrastination spirit on you, use me as your cautionary tale and get your pre-licensing as well as your national test done in a timely manner, okay? Now let's move on to my actual pre-licensing. So as I said, I got it done about a year ago, and it was the 60-hour, I think it was called the Principles of Real Estate course. And I basically did it through this online shop called the CE Shop. So you can do your pre-licensing in person. They do have schools that allow you to do that. However, for me, I am a millennial. And so if I can find it online, that's the best way for me to do it. Okay. So I found this website called the CE Shop. It's called, THECESHOP, theceshop.com. And they basically have a whole bunch of different, continuing education, licensing, exam prep courses as it relates to real estate, the mortgage industry, as well as the appraisal industry. So I would highly recommend them because I did them for my pre-licensing as well as my exam prep, right? And so the thing about the CE Shop that I really liked was that it was very interactive, right? Like, I'm the type of learner where if you give me the same information the same way, it's literally not going to land in my head the way it needs to, okay? So it was very interactive. There were videos, there were different little segments, there were different stories that were told, just something different than the standard, here's the information, review it, and then regurgitate it type stuff. So I really like that about the CE Shop. So I would implore y'all to check them out at theceshop.com. Now, in terms of my year of procrastination, I passed my pre-licensing course, I believe it was June 12th of 2022. And so, I was really amped up about it in terms of passing. And the weird thing about it, now that I think of it, I basically waited until the nth hour to pass my pre-licensing course as well. Damn. I'm really bad at this, but I'm trying, okay? I literally had, because what happened was when you buy a course through the CE Shop, you get an expiration date for the course, right? And so I had exhausted all of my extensions in terms of extending the course to the point where I had to either pass the course or forfeit all of the time that I had put in it. So once again, I am not a role model as it relates to it, but if you are like me and the procrastination spirit is on you, use me as your cautionary tale, right? So in terms of the year of procrastination, I had passed the test, and then I don't know, it's not that I wasn't interested in real estate. It's not that I wasn't, happy in terms of what the next steps were. It was really just procrastination. Life was happening. I was trying to build this channel. I was trying to build my TikTok stuff. I was doing stuff just regarding my social media career. And it just seems like I put real estate on the back burner, right? Now, sure to form, before I knew it, a year or almost a year had gone past, and I got an email from the system that basically said, if you don't take the test by June 12th, you invalidate your scores from your pre-licensing and you have to start all the way over again. So the best way to basically light a fire up under me is to give me a firm deadline, and that's what the service did, right? And so what I ended up having to do was kind of work backwards, right? I knew that I had an interest in real estate. I knew that I still remembered a lot of the stuff from my class, but I really didn't know where to start in terms of how do I review things that I covered over a year ago, right? So what I did was I started to go through like my old class notes, and it just really was not working for me because I had literally written these, extensive study guides covering, the 60 hours worth of pre-licensing topics, and it was like information overload. So once again, I went back to the CE shop, and like I said in the intro or in the beginning of this video, they also have exam prep, which is really, really great, right? So I purchased an exam prep for my state's licensing, and the great part about it was that it gave you a preliminary test just to see where you are, right? So for that test, I didn't really review anything in detail. I didn't really go over my notes too heavy. I just wanted to get a baseline in terms of where I was and how far I had fallen, right? And coincidentally enough, the state that I took it in was for, the Maryland real estate license. And in Maryland, you only need a 70% to pass, right? And there's two portions of the test. There's the national portion as well as the state portion. And I think in my first preliminary test for the national portion, I got a 75. And for the state, I think it was like a 78, right? So honestly, it was very encouraging, right? That if I could put something down for a year, not pay attention to it at all, do a cursory glance through my old notes and still get over, the required score to pass, I was like, I think I got this, right? And so what I basically did was I put in about 3 weeks of intense work where I pretty much utilized the CE Shop's courses to the nth degree, right? So what I did was after I took that preliminary test, I would get up in the morning, I would review my scores from that. I basically write a study guide in terms of the stuff I got wrong, the stuff I wanted to pay attention to, the stuff I guessed that I got right. And I just started creating this document just to kind of document the stuff that I wanted to pay attention to, right? So in the second day after that, I would review the scores, right? And then in the afternoon, I would take another practice test, right? I wouldn't review the practice test results that day. After putting in about 4 to 6 hours a day, your mind mentally needs to relax for a little bit. You need to put it out your head for a little bit. And so the next day I would come back in the morning, I would review my practice test from the prior day. And then that afternoon, I would take another practice test. And I pretty much did a series of that for 2 to 3 weeks. Now, do I recommend that to people? If you don't have to cram, don't cram, because that's essentially what I was doing. I was cramming, but in kind of a smart way, right? If you don't have to cram, please, please, please use me as your cautionary tale and do things ahead of time. But for me, I think taking multiple tests, I pretty much took a test a day for 3 weeks until the point where I was consistently getting over 80% in both the national and the state portions. And that's when I knew I was ready to take the test. And as I said, I kind of worked backwards, right? So I scheduled the test for June 3rd, and I pretty much had 3 weeks with which to kind of get ready for it. And I worked backwards on that. So I think a deadline really helps me just in terms of everything in my life as I try to, undo the bad behavior that procrastination has kind of sent me down. But As I said before, y'all, if you can do things ahead of time, do it that way. But if you only have a specified amount of time, then I think the CE Shop is a great tool to use with which to do your exam prep, because I'm living proof that you can literally put something down for a year, come back to it, study for 3 weeks, and basically pass both the national and the state portions of your test, right? Now, in terms of the test day, I was super nervous, right? And I just remember driving to the testing center. I had scheduled it for like super early in the morning because I wanted to get it out the way so that I could go about my day with whatever that meant. And as I told y'all, I scheduled it for June 3rd with the mindset that I had until June 12th because June 12th was the day that my scores would be invalidated. So I had until June 12th. So the great thing about the real estate exam is that you don't really have to wait to take it again. Like if I had failed it on the 3rd, I could take it on the 4th. Provided that I found a testing center and a testing location and a time that was available to me, right? And so when I was driving to the testing center, I just remember saying to myself, listen, faith without works is dead, okay? You have the faith, you put in the work, and so the universe and the Lord will deliver unto you a good result. I sat down in that test, y'all, and I think, you know, you get a feature in the test where you can mark certain questions, right? And what I learned from my pre-licensing is that I mark a lot of questions, not because I don't know them, it's just because I'm slightly unsure and, you know, I want to be able to come back to them if I have time, right? So I would really implore you guys to use that feature, especially as you prepare for your test and also on test day. Now, listen. By the time that I got to the end of the test, I had marked 25 questions. Now, listen. Clearly, there wasn't enough time to go back because I think there were 35 state-based questions and 80 national questions, right? So I don't have time in the last 2 minutes that I allocated on the test to go back through 25 questions. But I think the most important thing for test day, y'all, is that even if you're not sure about something, mark an answer, because I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I don't believe you're penalized for wrong answers. You're just counted for every answer that you get right, right? So even if you don't know the answer, that's a 25-57. There's a 25% chance that you may get it right by just going with your best guess in a scenario, right? And in terms of the questions, I really thought the CE Shop did a great job in terms of their exam prep because, you know, no practice questions are going to be exactly the same as on test day. If it were, then, you know, the service would probably be outlawed because you're essentially giving it away for free, right? But the way that the questions were written, they were written in such a way that it was super easy to understand the question as it was being asked on test day, right? They would ask it in a different way, but it was still a familiar way so that you didn't waste those key moments in terms of when you initially get the question, when you're trying to formulate an answer, into when you select an answer, right? So I thought that the CE Shop was really great in terms of their test question bank, in terms of it being so similar to the test that it was very easy for me to get through it in a timely manner. And y'all, I used every single bit of that time that I had, okay? I came down to the 2-minute mark and I was going through 25 questions that I had marked to go through. Of course, I didn't get through all of them, but the weird part about it is that once you submit the test, it takes you to a survey. I'm like, wait, y'all are burying the lead. Okay, I want to know, did I pass? Did I fail? Whatever the case may be, because, you know, when I was at the testing center, when I got there that morning, there were so many people there, y'all, who had taken the test multiple times and they just couldn't pass, right? This lady was like, this is my 5th time taking it. This other one was like, this is my 2nd time taking it. And listen, it may be bad, but I did a silent prayer to Jesus and I said, listen, the devil is a lie. I don't have multiple times to be taking this test. So I said a prayer for them and a prayer for myself that we would all get through it in a wonderful way. And I hope they did. I was the last person at the testing center. I don't know if y'all are like a tester, take a tester like me, in terms of I use all the time that's given, right? I don't care if I finish it early. I want every single minute that they've allotted to it, right? And so, as I said, when you submit it, they take you to a survey. I sped through the survey. I just gave them, high marks on everything. And then the next page said, you have passed both the national and the state portion, right? So listen, Although I do not advocate cramming, cramming worked for me in this instance. May not be for you, but it worked for me. I'm going to try to undo my bad behavior in the future, y'all. But listen, if you guys have any questions just regarding, the pre-licensing, my road through that in terms of me procrastinating, in terms of me taking the test, in terms of my exam prep, please drop down in the comments and let me know. I will try to get to every single question that I can, but I really think that that's all I want to cover in this video. So if you liked what I said, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all social media at DatDamnDasher, and until next time, y'all, stay tuned for more real estate content, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.